The subject of the coming into the earth of the evil one is widely covered in biblical prophecy. Of course, our problem has been that we have not seen the matter from a heavenly point of view. We've mostly attempted to see it from an earthly or linear perspective. And with that, of course, much is lost because we do not see it the way that it ought to be seen. We've been talking about the fact that the enemy understands what God has said the future is going to be. But it isn't so much that he believes it, as much as it is that he takes the precaution of not being caught just in case. So he's prepared and he's prepared himself against the day when, if maybe God is right, and he does lose the war with Michael, and we spoke about that in a previous broadcast, and he finds himself thrown into the earth, as the scriptures say in Revelation, the 12th chapter. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth, because the devil has gone down to you, and he's filled with fury because he knows his time is short. Now, he has prepared for his coming, and he understands that the humans are being drawn by their desire to preserve themselves and to protect themselves, to provide for themselves, to guarantee their well-being. So he has crafted his methodology for the entrapment of human beings to take full advantage of this weakness. And his global kingdom spreads out, as it were, an entire net that humans will be entrapped in if they're being governed by the twin imperatives of provision and protection. And if they're driven to provide for themselves and protect themselves by the three lusts, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. Because these are the things that, according to 1 John chapter 2, verse 15 and following, these are the things that are contained in the world, the domain controlled by Satan, and that kingdom that is meant to encompass all of the interest and needs of humanity. Needless to say, the return of the Lord is a subject that is widely covered in the scriptures, and probably one of the most thorough renditions of the events of that time is found in the words of the great prophet Daniel from the Old Testament. And we've been looking at Daniel as we've considered how the world is evolving into a global society because of the events now that increasingly push the earth toward a common response. Whether it's tsunamis in Asia or terrorism in Western states such as Spain, the United States, and other parts of the Western world. The world is being pushed together. And the world wants it to be so. The convenience of being able to shop globally via the internet, the convenience of being able to have friends and cultural exchanges and economic opportunities all over the world, that appeals to human beings. And so virtual reality, the ability to create a reality that reflects your highest ideals and interest and to customize it, seems to at once open the whole world to humans and yet not submerge them in anonymity. This duality clearly appeals to human beings. The dual benefits, as it were. And there appears to be no end in sight to the opportunities offered by this global configuration of human aims and ambitions. It's almost like riding on the Titanic, this majestic ship making its maiden voyage across the Atlantic, inaugurating a new age of travel and luxury, that even God could not sink the Titanic, as the saying was back then. And then suddenly it strikes an iceberg. It seems like this wave of possibility offered to us by virtual reality, brave new worlds in which we can create anything, that we can create a human being for spare parts via cloning, or we could create medical therapies and drugs from stem cell research. Science boldly says there's really no reason for a human being to die. The promise of this brave new world is dazzling, like the Titanic. This is not so much that a doomsayer is angry or frustrated that the world that he knows has changed. No. It's not that there was anything wrong with the Titanic. The Titanic itself was a fine ship, and no reason for God to want to sink it or not. It was the attitude of men, because of the possibility that the Titanic represented, that made the matter, that gave the matter transcendent references. The internet, cyberspace, virtual reality, these things in themselves are not bad. They're not good, they're not bad, they just are. But for humans to think that these things will go on uninterruptedly is for them to disbelieve the plain meaning of Scripture. There is a global kingdom, and a ruler of it will come. Will come. When he does, the Scriptures say you cannot buy or sell. Something we readily do on eBay all over the world, procuring whatever needs we may have. You cannot buy or sell unless you receive permission and identity, the mark of the beast. The beast itself is not the Antichrist. The Antichrist is the horn on the head of that beast. The beast itself is this global kingdom. So whenever you see a global kingdom arising, whenever anything arises that moves toward globalism, the believer in the Scriptures ought to be aware of the fact that this, though it may be a benign happening, has the potential ultimately of being controlled by a genuinely evil person. He is the little horn that comes up on the head of this beast. He is the horn with eyes and a mouth that speaks blasphemous things against God, rails against the God of the heavens, and makes war against the saints. If you don't see that as the companion to the rise of globalism, then you only see globalism as this benign occurrence. And who can be against? Who would want to be against shopping on the internet and having access to a global marketplace? Who would be against having information about all facets of human occupation of this planet? Who would be against the ease with which one could make a fortune using computers and the internet? Who could possibly be against young people finding friends all over the world, talking to them every day in chat rooms? Who could be against the human imagination being unfettered with tools of the digital revolution? If you begin to talk like that, then you appear to be someone against progress. It's not that these things are good or bad. They're not. They're neither good nor bad. It is that the scriptures tell us that there will come a ruler who will speak for a global empire and will blaspheme the name of the Lord while utilizing the might of this global empire to crush and devour the whole earth and to wage war against the saints. It's odd because with cyber reality, with virtual reality, we have a global kingdom. It is not yet under the control of the evil one, but the one who is coming will come. Otherwise, the scriptures are dead wrong. Now, when he comes, here are some things that he will do. This is from the book of Daniel, Daniel the 9th chapter. Here the prophet Daniel, upon repenting to God, was given a vision from God. Verse 24 of Daniel 9 begins by saying, 70 sevens, 70 periods of 7 years each, are decreed for your people, your holy city, to finish transgression, to put an end to sin, to atone for wickedness, and to bring in everlasting righteousness, to seal up vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most holy. So quite literally, from the time of your return from Babylonian captivity to the end of the age, there will be 70 periods of 7 years each. Now, if this were 70 periods of 7 years each running concurrently, that would be a total of 490 years. However, the record of these shows a broken line. After 69 sevens, there's a broken line. Know and understand this, that from the issuing of the decree to restore and rebuild Jerusalem until the anointed ruler, the anointed one, the ruler comes, there'll be 70 sevens and 62 sevens. There will be 7 sevens and 62 sevens. So of the 70 sevens, 62 plus 7, which will be 69 of the 77s, will be consumed in between the years following the decree for the restoration of Israel. And you keep in mind now, when Daniel is writing this, Daniel is still in captivity in Babylon. But there will come a decree. Darius, the king of the Persians, will issue a decree ordering the restoration and the rebuilding of Israel. From that time until the anointed one, the Lord Jesus Christ, comes, there will be one period of 7, and there will be 7 sevens and 62 sevens. So 62 plus 7 is 69 sevens. Now, how many sevens were there altogether? 70 sevens. that means there's one period left of sevens, 1 7-year period. Then he goes on to say, the people of the ruler who will come. This is different from the anointed one, the ruler. Another ruler will come. The people of the ruler who will come will destroy the city and the sanctuary. Well, a ruler came who destroyed the city and the sanctuary. That happened in AD 70, in the year AD 70. That was Titus Flavius. Jerusalem was sacked, and if you visit the ancient city of Rome, there's the Arch of Titus, and one of the bas reliefs on one of the sides of this Arch of Titus shows Roman soldiers carrying away the 7-branch candelabra that was in the temple. So the people of the ruler who will come, the people of Titus Flavius, the Roman ruler, will destroy the city and the sanctuary. And that they did. The end will come like a flood. War will continue until the end, and desolations have been decreed. Now, another ruler will come, but he is of the type of the destroyer. So it simply says he. He will confirm a covenant with many for 1 7. Then the clock starts again. This world ruler, of course, will make peace because he will confirm the peace with many for 1 7. So this figure who will come as a man of peace. In the middle of the 7, 3.5 would be the middle of 7, he will put an end to sacrifice and offerings. Well, note something here. In the same passage, he talks about the people of the ruler who will come will destroy the city and the sanctuary, the city and the temple. But then right below that it says, and on a wing of the temple. What does that tell you? That there's a time lapse. And the temple that was destroyed, because the people of that ruler who will come will destroy the city and the sanctuary. And it's not like we have to guess about this, because Titus destroyed the city of Jerusalem and the temple. The temple to this day is in ruins. The site of the temple is now occupied by a mosque called the Al-Aqsa Mosque. All the stones of the temple were thrown down. The Romans threw over every stone, just as Jesus prophesied. Because when the temple burned, the roof of the temple was overlaid with a thin sheet of gold, and the molten gold ran down in the cracks between the stones of the temple, and this molten gold was discovered, and it gave rise to the rumor that the Jews had used gold as paving between the stones of the temple. So the Roman legionnaires overthrew every stone of the temple looking for gold. Now, so the temple was and is destroyed, but chronologically, in the middle of the week, the last of the 77s, in the middle of the week, an end is put to sacrifice and offerings, and an abomination is established in the temple. And this abomination causes desolation. An abomination that causes desolation set up in the temple. So in between the 77s, or the 69 sevens, and the final 7 of the 70, the temple was destroyed. you might note that the temple was destroyed as Jesus prophesied in Matthew 24, in his time here upon the earth. He prophesied the destruction of the temple. And 40 years almost after his death and resurrection, the temple was destroyed and has remained in ruins. So there's a prophecy regarding the rebuilding of the temple. And you will find a connection between that prophecy for the rebuilding of the temple and the coming of the Antichrist, and also the time that wraps up the end. You will find a companion prophecy in the book of Revelation, 13th chapter. For he says, the beast was given, in Revelation 13:5, the beast was given a mouth to utter proud and blasphemous words, and to blaspheme the authority of God and his name and his dwelling place for 3.5 years, times and half a time. Then he goes on to say, he was given power to make war against the saints and to conquer them. And he was given authority over every tribe, people, language, and nation. All the inhabitants of the earth will worship the beast, and all whose names are not written in the book of life. Now, so it tells us that the worship of this beast, the worship of the evil one, will take place on the earth. Put the two passages together, what do you have? In fact, there is another passage just following on here in Revelation 13 that speaks to the establishment of an image of the beast in a wing of the temple. We'll come to that, but time doesn't permit us in this particular broadcast to do so. So in the last of the days, Jerusalem will be the hub of all activity. Since there will be a restoration of the temple and temple worship, the center of all activities, religious and political, will take place in Jerusalem. When the beast comes, or when the global kingdom rises, it will produce a ruler on one of the heads. This ruler, with his blasphemous mouth, will speak against the Most High and will wage war against the saints. The center of his rule will be the city of Jerusalem. The foundation of his rule will be the restoration of the temple and the worship associated with Judaism, and the resurrection of Neo-Judaism. I think it interesting that there's an upsurge in the return to Judaism among Christians. In that sense, it wouldn't be a return, but a resurgence of interest in Judaism among Christians. Born-again, spirit-filled believers are being induced to go back to an observation of law and legal things, of Torah. Yet the scriptures speak of these events as summarizing the age and giving legitimacy to the rule of the beast. These 7 systems of this global kingdom will control everything relating to human life. These will be incredibly powerful systems. In the next broadcast, it is my intention to talk with you about the 7 heads, the 7 systems, but to pay attention to the greatest of these systems, the religious system of the cosmos. These events are rapidly unfolding even as the world itself careens toward the convenience, the hope, the promise of globalism. Yet a sinister force is waiting to rule it all. This is the Antichrist who will rule by ruling over the beast. Let's continue our discussion. I'm Sam Soleyn. God bless you, and I'll see you then. Bye-bye.
I know the plans that I have. They are good for you. They are good for you. I know the plans that I have. They are good for you. They are good for you. And no matter, child, what voices you've heard, just keep trusting in my unchanging word. I know the plans that I have. They are good for you. I know the plans that I have. They are good for you. They are good for you. I know the plans that I have. They are good for you. They are good for you. And no matter, child, what voices you heard, just keep trusting.
Hello, I'm Sam Soleyn, and I'm the host of this television program. I'm happy that you've been joining us in the studies that we've been presenting via these programs. Now, many times I bring an entire series of messages, and you may be only able to hear one out of that series. If you're interested in the whole series, then we have them available for you. If you'll visit us on the website, www.soleyn, my last name, SOLEYN.com, or visit us or write to us at the address shown on the screen. We'd be happy to hear from you. Also, of course, our intention is that these messages be available to the general viewing public without cost to the end user. Obviously, there are costs associated with the production and distribution of these messages. If you would like to help us do that, then we'd love to hear from you. We might suggest that you write to us at the address on the screen or visit us at the website, www.soleyn.com. Our hope is that these messages will enrich the lives of those people who are seeking the Lord, and we hope that you would join us in making this available. I'm Sam Soleyn. God bless you. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. I'm Sam Soleyn, and I'm the host of this program. We're happy that you joined us to watch and to view this program. Our hope is that by doing so, your spiritual life will be greatly enhanced. Visit us on our website at www.soleyn.com for further information on these messages. Thank you so much, and God bless you. Bye-bye.